so clean you could eat off it. Raining.
Huh!
Replay. Online. Versus. Select your fighter. Eleonora. Where you headed? Select your fighter. Eleonora.
Too smooth.
Where you headed? Training room. Welcome to the mayhem.
I can see.
Red hot action. Begin. Rush.
On the house. All right, let's get him, boys. Wise guy, yeah.
Down for the count.
Is that it?
Victory, but at what cost? It's now or never.
Break's over.
Red hot action. Fight.
Let's get him, boys.
That's the finish. Kick him to the curb. A meeting of champions.
Enjoy your dirt nap.
You're in this till the end. Fight!
Rough him up. Rough him up.
Atomic!
Make yourself. Rough him up. Rough him up. bunch of slugs.
Now that's what I call the true definition of grit.
It's an interesting fighting game. However, I don't know if it's good enough to be considered.
Destination Utopia. Fight for science. Sleep.
Tell you later. Tell you later. Tell you later.
Sleep.
Tell you later. Here comes some bad news.
Phenomenal.
Something. Rough him up. Rough him up. What are you, chicken? Rough him up. Nick yourself. Rough him up. Hey, get out. All right, let's get him, boys.
Knocked out.
Something to remember us by.
A real nail biter.
It is fun. However, I wouldn't say that other than what they're giving you is from what I could see that they're giving you is not something that's good enough to be considered good enough. I mean, it's a fighting game, so they don't want to reveal everything because it's a demo of a fighting game. But what they're giving you for the fighting game isn't really much of anything. You can't multiplayer with people online in the demo because then that takes away from it being a demo, and people will be playing the demo all the time in the multiplayer, which is understandable. But in the versus, when you're just playing against the CPU versus yourself, I would say the moveset aren't really complicated, but they're not good enough to be considered well enough fighting maneuvers. Like you got punch, kick, and then you have grabs. So the follow-ups aren't really that good. They're interesting, and once you hit a certain bar level, you get to do your specials. But the fight abilities of characters are basic at best. They're not really distinct for what this game is. I would say the characteristic of the fighters are distinct, such as this character right here. She doesn't charge dash forward, she just blows smoke and stuff, and she throws knives. But at the same time, it feels quite, I don't know how I feel about it. It feels like there's more that should have gone into the demo with regards to the fighting. The fighting feels quite limited. Or maybe the description of how to do the combos is limited. Like you have the move list here. What's just a typical and generic move list? You got kicks, you got palms and grabs. You got bankroll, single vent, perfect break. and it says B and D. But the thing is, you're on a controller, and your controller should say B and D on it. I mean, if this is exclusive for a PlayStation, which is not, it would say square, triangle, X and stuff. But here within the move list, it says B and D. So there's not really like an option to change that whatsoever at all. And I was looking into this, and I was saying to myself, well, there's music, this and this and this. Okay, so I can't change the move list to actually see so these is basic move, character moves, KO moves, but I can't change the buttons state, which is triangle, which is square, which is circle, which is X. So you kind of have to guess on the fly, and I believe that's not good. That's not good at all. We're living in a generation where people are very impatient, and if you don't make things simple to understand, then there's a problem there, which means whoever pushed this out for the PlayStation controllers automatically had this game made for probably PC, and then for maybe Xbox or something, and then the PlayStation thereafter. But on PlayStation there is no A, B, C, there's either square, but X, and so on and so forth. So the normal person wouldn't go out of their way to try to know which one is which. That's up to the people who made the game. So that's already a bad thing right there. I don't care about what anyone says. Like, if I'm looking at something and I look down at my controller and it doesn't say what I'm seeing on the screen, that's not a me thing. That's not for me to figure out, especially if it's not here within their options menu of how to turn on or turn that off or switch it to a different type. That's the fault of the people who made the game. So that's already a bad thing. And the moves aren't like some of the best moves. They're very generic. I mean, it baffles me when people make video games like, or fighting games, or any type of games. I'm like, what are they thinking when they're making certain games, you know? So I'm gonna go ahead and try various different move sets. Like, I understand how 2D fighting games work and how you have to know the moves and everything, but let's see what we have here. We have the standard punch, then we have the uppercut punch, and then we have the low punch. And this is, I mean, the one good thing I would say about the game is the character designs and the animation with regards to characters and the special moves. The basic moves of characters like punch, kicks and stuff aren't really anything special. So, okay, this is low punch, which is, I don't see how anyone could be damaged from you blowing smoke on them as a low punch. Unless it's poison she's smoking, and if she's smoking poison, then you see what I'm saying? The suspense of believability goes out the window. Even, like, I always tell people when they're doing anything that's fiction, or they're watching anything that's fiction, like, there's a level of up in the air that your mind can take, and then there's up in the air that's so far on another planet it doesn't require rationale for it. And that's what this is. Like, you have up in the air Star Wars stuff, then you have up in the air Brazil stuff. Things that don't really make sense logically or scientifically. And then you have, like, I don't know, man. Like, how is blowing of smoke will damage anyone whatsoever at all, unless it's poison in there. Which makes me wonder, like, okay, so is this person toxic person? You don't know. You just assume that it's a dumbass thing to do, unless the game tells you that this person is full of toxic. So that's her punch. This is her uppercut. She throws a knife that doesn't even, like, say if the person is standing right in front of her, they'll get hit by this, but if they're away from her, like say at the back, or where that dummy is standing, it would go over the person. It would miss them. So an uppercut is best when you're standing right in front of the character. But I guess this is good, because if the person started too far away, they get to get hit at the same time. So it's an uppercut with benefits. So that's kind of good. Low punch. The low punch is actually a kick. See what I'm saying? It doesn't make sense. But like, she stands up, she does a punch. But when she crouches, she does a kick. She stands up, she does a punch. That's a punch too. And when she crouches, that's supposed to be considered a punch as well, but it's not really a punch. So she throws darks. So all of a sudden, when she crouches, she does her punch goes to a kick. Now, from what I could tell, there's only one kick button, and this is supposed to be the kick button. But apparently, the moveset in this game is strange. Each button represents a different type of behavior for character. So it's not that the character's moves are different with the same similar buttons, as the buttons are changed up for the character moveset. So if you want to learn how to play a certain character, the buttons will be different for that character specifically, which is fine. It's just that certain things doesn't make sense. Like if a button is a punch button for a character, it's just stay a punch button, whether they're crouching or standing. You shouldn't automatically switch. So apparently this is her punch button. This is also her punch button. And this is also her punch button. And this is, apparently she doesn't have any kicks until she yeah, apparently she has no kick button until she crouches to the ground and does this. So this is just a punching fighter with just one kick button. Okay. But I think it was the same for that guy too. He had nothing but punches and one kick button. But what's weird about this character is that she doesn't have any kick buttons when she's standing, but she does have one kick button when she's crouching. It makes no sense. Alright, so what else? So triangle and X is typically a grab with the other guy. Is nothing with her. Let's see which button is her grab.
On the house.
Okay, so her grab is square and X.
On the house.
Okay.
Smell you later. On the the house. On the house. On the house. On the house. On the house.
Okay.
Make yourself.
Got a job to do.
So X in circle summons a guy.
Make yourself.
What are you scared?
Okay. Let's see what's triangle and circle. Triangle and circle is nothing. And triangle and square is just a dash forward. Now what does the top buttons do? L2
Got a job to
summons him, which means there's no reason for me to press two buttons if L2 summons him. R1 does nothing. Doesn't combine with anything either. L1 doesn't do anything. R1 does something though. R1 does the dash. L1 doesn't do anything. So that doesn't do anything. R2 R2 does nothing other than this. A downward punch. Okay, so in all truth she has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 punch buttons. So she has the triangle one, which is the throwing darts, and she has the square one, which is the shooting gun downwards, and she has the X one, which is like the slap. Yeah, she slaps you and then she put back on her gloves. And then she has the bat one, where she takes a bat out of nowhere and then swings it at you. And then she has the R2 one, which is the downward punch one. Okay. And of course, jump is up and down with the left analog stick, or as the game says, you could press down and R1 to dash downwards, and press up and R1 to dash upwards. Okay. Combos. Let's try. Oh, that's what she was doing. What she takes out of her pocket is a glass bottle, and she smacks it in your face. Okay. So she has a gun in her, I think she has a gun in her left pocket and a glass bottle in her right pocket.
Make yourself.
what you looking at.
She also has a dart in her right pocket as well.
On the house. Smell you later. On the house. On the house. On the house. Make yourself.
What you looking at.
On the house.
That's interesting. Press forward twice with the bat. So it's forward 1 and then 1, 2 and then, or it's 1, 2, or it's pressing both forward and the bat at the same time, or double forward and the bat at the same time. Yeah, that's what it is. Double forward, 1, 2, and then bat. Or is it 1, 2, 3? No, that's 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it's questionable. Or maybe it's dash forward and then press it. No, that's not it. Oh, maybe that's what it was. I was accidentally pressing it. It's just up and circle. That's what it was. I was accidentally pressing the wrong thing the whole time. So that's that. So up and circle does the spinning thing. And down circle does the down thing.
On the house.
Wonder how I summon that guy. Let me see. Next of kin.
Rough him up.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Got a job to do.
Okay, so X and circle summons Nix and kin. Forward X and circle does summon him. Back X and circle
Rough him up.
summons this one.
Make yourself.
Got a job to do.
Make yourself.
Got a job to do.
Make yourself.
Got a job to do.
Okay.
Rough him up. Make yourself.
Got a job to do.
Okay. Loose end. Three roll 2. A and okay. Can't be right. Okay. The movement. Bankroll. See, standard moves, basics. It's for teammates. Okay.
What are you, chicken? Wise guy, eh? Wise guy, eh?
Intimidation. Okay. So circle and square together does intimidation.
Wise guy, eh? Make yourself
What you looking at?
What are you, chicken? Talking to me? Make yourself
What
useful.
you looking at?
Rough him up. Rough him up.
Strange.
All the house. Make yourself
Got a job to do.
drop him off.
Okay, maybe it's because the dummy is not doing any attack moves. Stand, crouch, jump. There's nothing that seems to be for the dummy to actually hit back. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. Like, how would I know? Scrap. I don't know. Block mode after hit, always. Never block. Sure. Okay, so the dummy doesn't do anything.
Make yourself
What you looking at?
drop him off. What are you, chicken? Wise guy, eh? Make yourself
What you looking at?
wise guy, eh? Yeah.
Alright, so what am I supposed to do with this guy? I summon him.
Streamline.
So maybe the hostage gives me a boost or something. Alright, so doing a Hadouken forward makes her pull out her Tommy gun. And of course, the up and the bat makes her do the spinning. The Hadouken backwards make her do the throwing darts.
Drop him off.
So shoot downwards. Does he do anything with the gun? Yeah, let's try a different character. So as cool as the game seems, and in practice, I don't know if I could switch the characters in training. Maybe I can. Okay, let's go Ruby. Okay, I could at least do that. See what her moveset is. She seems to be the most malleable. It's kind of a dumb R2 move. I mean L2 move. She puts her hand up like that. You see what I'm saying? There's certain things about this game. The moveset, some movesets are good and others are like very stiff and not very interesting, like this. She just puts her hand forward. You're like, okay. Put her finger forward. And she pull out a pencil or something. Like, who gives a shit if you're pulling out a pencil? Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this. As a fighting game, it seems quite limited, not in the special moves or the character design and animation, but within the basic movesets. Their basic movesets are quite boring for basic movesets. Like their punches and jabs and stuff. Their punches and jabs and stuff, like her punch and her jab. This is a her punch is interesting because she has this punch, then she has a throwing dart, then she has a glassy smack in your face. Right, that makes sense. But if you switch, so let's say oh yeah, I can't switch. I can only switch to Ruby and her. What the hell? Or Rory, okay. Okay, like say his punch is a forward punch. Quite boring. Nothing interesting about that. His downward punch is somewhat interesting. And his lower punch is almost the same as his forward punch. He's just switched to a different arm. And the animation for his voice, or the voice activation for his punch, it's just different. So he just switches his arm for a straight punch, and this is a straight jab, and this is a downward. So it's like he has a boxer's stance. Be like, how is that actually a unique thing? Like, if you're going for unique things in a fighting game, what distinguishes you from other fighting game has to be everything down to the wire, or down to the last syllable. Otherwise it comes across as very loose and easy to figure out. Like, if the best part of your fighting game is your special moves, then that's not really a good selling point. Your average abilities should be what's very good, and then the special moves should be like the icing on the cake. can't have your average moves be normal. Like, this is normal. All of this is normal. There's nothing good about this guy. I picked the gangster girl because she seems to be the most interesting of the characters. You have Rory, Ruby, and then you have 3 characters to choose from, most within the demo. Ruby's, her straight punches she whips out a pencil or something, or a pen. I don't know what the hell it is. Maybe it's a straight razor, but it's so fast and ridiculous. You can't even see what it is, nor is it important in the slightest, because it just looks like she stands up and put her hands out. Like she's being conceited or something. And her hard punch is like she throws a package on the ground. Because she's a skate delivery person. How is that like a good attack? I would understand if she like take the package out of her back and then throws it like a string by its ribbon to uppercut you or smash it on your head like a hammer, but just drops on the floor. Like, the best part about her move is probably this. She does like you know, Eddie Gordo thing. That's probably the best part of her move. Nothing real special about that either. Then she does this stupid little outward. So she has a ridiculous one where she does like this, and another ridiculous one where she does like this, a palm. And she takes off her hat and hits you with her hat. It's... How is that interesting in the slightest? Then she does a slide forward and she grabs you, which is interesting. So she has a Eddie Gordo one, and then she has a slide forward that leads into a grab. But then she has another ridiculous lower one, which is just this. Where she puts her hand outwards and then she kicks forward with her skates. Yeah, that's not good. And then she puts her like a newspaper out forward. This is just as bad as this one. Her jump kits are about as average as everything. So she has like 3 very interesting moves. She has a slide move that leads into a grab. She has an Eddie Gordo type flip move. Which you go combo with. Or maybe you can't combo with it. It's just an instantaneous thing. It doesn't look like you can combo with it. But yeah, it looks like you can. I guess you can combo it, but if the person's far away, you probably can't combo it. And then she has her running away version and running forward version. It doesn't really help, to be honest with you. It's a cool little animation, but doesn't really do anything for her movesets. It just says it just proved that she's shitty at skating when she's trying to dodge. So yeah, I don't know. I would say the character that seems the most interesting is, you know, Eleonora. Because at least all of her moveset seems to be a little bit different. Like, she does a downward punch, not like a regular punch with a gun. And then her forward punch is a bunch of throwing darts that you can combo with. And her circle punch is like a huge bat swing, which if you press up, she goes into a downward, or up and she goes into a spiral, or down and she goes into a pipe, whips out a pipe. Or if you stand up, she whips out a bottle and slashes you in the face with the X. And then her R2 is a guy that shows up and does something, rather than, you know, Ruby's dumbass one, which is just she just put her hand, or take us off her hat or some crap like that. And her downward one is also this person as well. I would say maybe like two moves from Eleonora is bad, but majority of her stuff, she's probably the best character in the game as animations set wise, or the most interesting, or maybe the second most interesting. But so far, I mean, if this is the game's selling point, like basic standard fighting moves and maybe a few good ones, and not to mention the demo only giving you the opportunity to play the verses and nothing else. That's all you have. Is you could train and you could verse, and that's all you need to know about the game. And you decide based on playing versus against the CPU on whatever difficulty you want, and training. Is the game good enough? I don't think that would be good enough to just sell the game. They should at least attach a story to the game. Like most 2D games, as shitty as their stories or lore go, they at least have something to feed to the fans or to gamers. Like Double Dragon and Streets of Rage, they at least have a somewhat of a story. Here, there's nothing. So I don't know if I could recommend this game to anyone. So that's all I gotta say about this. I don't think it's a good 2D fighting game. I think its moveset with regards to special moves are very good. I believe its moveset with regards to its heavy attack moves are very good for its different characters. But for its standard moves, punch, kick, and so on and so forth, it's very weak. Maybe 1 out of 3 characters is interesting, and if that's 1 out of 3 characters, that's not good. It should be 2 out of 3 characters moveset are good, rather than 1 out of 3. So yeah, I don't think this is that good of a game, to be honest with you. I wouldn't have played it, but I was looking online for a good demo, and I couldn't really find one. And the ones that I do find interesting are the ones I already know about. So it's not like they're new games. They're games that exist already. Whether they came out 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 2 years ago, or a year ago. Was just looking for something a little bit different. A new type of 2D fighting game. And this is the only thing I could find that was a new type of 2D fighting game in the demo arena. And it's not that good. But at least the animation with regards to characters are good, and the movesets with regards to character moving and behavior is good. With the standard buttons for fighting is not good. I can't really dive deep into something that doesn't have much for you to feed on. It just gives you versus and training. No story, no lore, no nothing other than versus and training. So I can't really judge a game fully based on just those two things. They didn't really give you much in their demo to chew on. Maybe it's because there's not much there either. So that's all I got to say about this. I'm gonna call it a day on this. It's up to you whether you want to buy this. I don't see this being something that I would play over and over again. There are plenty of other fighting games that do it better. You would think they would try to be very distinct with how they create their fighting game. I mean, if you want to be real different with regards to fighting game from other fighting games, you should have your standard moveset be very interesting, and your special moves just to be a cherry on the cake. Here, the standard movesets aren't very interesting. They're very set in place. The character doesn't move in place. It's not like they do a punch that moves from their position to another position. Their attacks are simply set in place. Or if it is a set in place attack, it's not very interesting set in place attack. Except maybe for Eleonora when she does something. And even when you're doing it, the animation for Eleonora doing her standard moves feels very direct animation wise. You know, there's no emotion to it. It's just she throws her arm and a glass bottle hits you in the face. There's nothing else that follows it. Like an explosion or sound effects or a spark or a little animation. So they work with what they have because they didn't have that much of a budget, but they could have at least throw in a story or at least a lore or something. They didn't really did that. So maybe if I go back to the beginning and exit out. But I don't think I can exit out. That's the thing.
Pay attention.
It's time to clock in and punch out.
However, it does give you a how to do certain things. It gives you basic moves and advanced moves, depending on the one you're using. It's very straightforward. Like advanced moves are this, this, and this. But as you're moving to it, it's not like you could press on the word advanced moves and then it pulls up a list of advanced moves. It's just telling you the advanced moves and you have to pay attention to it rather than they giving you all the advanced moves so you could see it on your own. So yeah, I don't think so. Now I wanted to go back to the main menu, the main intro menu. I don't know if I can or if the game has it. Like once you interact with the game, I'm not sure if you're able to. I don't see it here. And it's not down there, or maybe it's back at the beginning, but no, it's just versus.
Select your fighters.
So I can't exit to the main menu again.
Select your fighters. Select your fighters.
They have some interesting looking characters, but the moveset are all stiffs. So I don't see the point. I mean, it's not like it's stiff, stiff, stiff. It feels very fluid. Stiff as in the character doesn't move out of their place when they do something. Like, see, she does something here. She stays in place, so. She's staying in place. The only time she moves out of place is when she's using the bat. She steps forward with the bat.
Training.
In place, in place, in place. All the moves are in place, so yeah. I'll call it a day on this. Yeah, it's an alright demo for a fighting game. I'm not sure if diehard fighting fans will find it interesting. I'm not sure if they would, but if there's no other fighting game that have played every fighting game, this might be an option. This is not like on the top tier, top shelf fighting game. In fact, this doesn't even feel like it's even in the middle. So who knows? And the list of characters, it's not like they have a ton of characters either, so I don't know. I mean, it feels fluid except for when they do and move, which feels kind of stiff. But and I'm not talking about they're moving from their arm to do the attack. I'm talking about they stay in place when they're doing attack. I don't know. There's something off about the game that just doesn't feel very fluid for today's standard when it comes to fighting 2D games, if they're going the fighting 2D route. I know they're trying to be different, but this doesn't feel different. This feels like something I've seen in the 2D arena a long time ago. It's just that the graphics are for this generation. Maybe they're trying to go classic. And if they're trying to go classic, sure, they're doing a great job, but classic fighting games don't really hold up in today's market unless there's something to push it forward as a classic 2D fighting game. It has to be something more than this. And the demo, they were supposed to introduce more than this, so I don't know. I have no idea what they're thinking, so I just know this